When I'm going, no one gets on, cause I won't let nobody press up and mess up the scene I set. I like to stand in the crowd. You are listening to
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's another episode. Again, this is a special Hoops and Hops episode with my man, my co-pilot, on this particular journey for the Hoops and Hops show. That is, for those that maybe haven't pressed play before, we discuss NBA and craft beer frequently on this show. So that's the Hoops and that's the Hops. What's going on, Mr. Greg Casey, better known as G?
What it is, what it do, what it be.
Great to have you aboard. We didn't take 6 weeks off this time around.
Hibernation. Winter is coming to an end.
That's debatable in some ways. I mean, but it was a great day today. So, really quickly, you know, we got some NFL stuff to get through. It is NBA primarily, but, you know, football kind of runs the sports calendar. So, and obviously next week is the biggest sporting event in the, I was going to say the world, but I would think the World Cup might surpass that. But in between these borders, the biggest thing and the biggest event is Super Bowl 50. The 50th edition will be coming up next Sunday, so we'll get into a preview of the Super Bowl. Right on time, USA Today put out a list of the 49 Super Bowl champions, ranking them 1 to 49. We'll touch base on that. We'll get into a little bit of entertainment, some movies, some TV series. What else we got here? Obviously, we have a short beer discussion to get into, and then we'll jump into basketball, a couple of college thoughts, as well as some NBA action. Anything else am I forgetting, man? It looks like about it. That's the rundown. So what's going on with you, man?
You know, it's been I've had a couple of days to kind of just chill and kind of get back to center. Picked up some local stuff. So yeah, like right now, beverage of the moment is from a local to our Dayton, Ohio area, Zoetic from Yellow Springs Brewery, American style pale ale. And
what's the name of that again?
Zoetic.
Like poetic, but with the P?
A Z, exactly.
I mean with the Z.
Yeah.
Or P, you know. Okay. So just wanted to make note of the beverage. The beer discussion today is kind of a freestyle, but, you know, we'll obviously highlight, you know, the beverages that we enjoy responsibly during the recording of Hoops and Hops.
No cars here.
Right. So, I'm going to jump right into it, man. I don't have a big monologue today, nothing really to rant on. So, we will... Some breaking news in the NFL today. This might hit a little close to home for for G.
Yeah.
I've been seeing reports that it is coming to an end in Detroit for Mr. Calvin Johnson, better known as Megatron. What's this, 10 years for him?
10 years. He's 30 years old.
Eerily similar to another guy who only played about 10 years in the blue and silver.
Barry Sanders.
I guess reports are coming from his agent, maybe, and his family that he's hanging it up, man.
The first report was actually from whoever the source was, but it was from Jim Caldwell, and he said that Calvin told him that he was going to hang him up effectively. Like this literally happened. Within the past hour and a half. Like I think it broke at around 6:30 Eastern. Mm-hmm. It's about 8 o'clock now. Yeah, I mean, I haven't
processed it yet.
He hasn't said anything himself to media outlets or anything.
This is the second time we're hearing
Yeah.
These rumblings and grumblings, though.
I don't want to believe it until it's completely over. But, if he does call it a career, he'd have all the records in Detroit. All-time leader in receptions at 731. All-time in receiving yards at 11,619. All-time in receiving touchdowns at 83. And receiving yards per game at 86.1. So, some might say those are Hall of Fame numbers. I just would really be upset if I feel like they're finally trying to turn the organization around, like bringing in, and I can't think of his name.
Front office changes.
Right, the guy coming over from the Patriots, who also brought another scout, player development guy from the Patriots with him. And so I just when it seems like, the future looks bright, gotta let that one star fall out.
This is unfortunate. Number 2 overall pick. Like you said, he played in all 16 games this year. 88 receptions, 1,200 yards, 6th consecutive 1,000-yard season, and the 7th of his career. I know it had to be a little disheartening to take a step back, miss the playoffs this year after being robbed in Dallas-Fort Worth at Jerry's World last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we got into this discussion on the earlier Hoops and Hops. The one consistent theme that I've seen in this development is that his body hurts. And I was just wondering, what's your thoughts? I don't think we touched on it. I think I maybe had it as a note a couple of shows ago, but we didn't get into it. Do you think there's any credence to the argument, or maybe to scouting some of these players? Would you go with the 6'5", the big body, the 6'4", 6'5"? I know I mentioned this in another podcast. That probably was a solo thing. But is there some concern, getting down 8, 9, 10 years with a dude that's 6'5" and is that lanky or long, rangy? He spent a lot of time diving for balls, going to the ground, rolling around. Is there any thoughts on drafting that type of receiver versus somebody who's a little more compact, but then you don't have that same catch halo or reception halo with somebody like AB, Steve Smith Sr.? You think some teams might need to look at that? Because then the counter to that, the contrary to that is you have a 5'10" guy who might have that speed, like the quick twitch stuff, but then in years 6, 7, can he not get that separation?
Look, I think, you can't teach size.
Can't coach it, can't teach it.
And so I don't think you stop drafting those guys, because particularly somebody who, that's hard to do, but somebody who could have a career or a talent arc like a Megatron, you got to get that guy. And, I think, as you said, AB, like Antonio Brown, I think he's a little different because I think he's faster than Calvin. Calvin's game has always been, I'm just going to out-jump you and I'm stronger than you.
Right, physical you.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a lot of reason he's hanging him up, because he was always getting double, triple covered. He was always getting pushed. He was always getting tackled hard. And
so I'm saying he's had a very physical career,
and we've sucked for most of it. Right. So there's only one guy you got to pay attention to. There's only one guy that you really got to hit. And so, I understand it. And, it's not my place to tell somebody, like, keep playing for my team. But, particularly now with all of the studies that show exactly what the effects and wear and tear to the body are after playing football, I only think it's surprising in the sense that I don't want it to happen. Like, surprising in the sense that he's still got 3 years under contract.
Yeah, he got a lot of money on the table.
Yeah.
He's like an $18+ million.
He's got like 62 due over the next 3 years.
What's your thoughts regarding where could he possibly go next? he's been a quiet guy. He hasn't been the most demonstrative vocal player. I don't remember many sound bites over the years. Is he a studio guy? I mean, he obviously is pretty good looking guy. He looks good in his suits. But he is 6'5".
He's well spoken.
Well spoken. I don't know how he fits in that. It's not a cutthroat competitive with everybody trying, especially on the NFL Network.
Whose spot would he take? Yeah, it's
Right.
not quite like the whole TNT thing.
But I would say he fits in maybe on either the CBS program with Shine and Fletcher, London Fletcher. I think he might be a good fit there. Maybe CBS or ESPN. Because I wouldn't mind if somebody bumped. I hate to do it to him, but I wouldn't be mad if somebody bumped Key out of a seat.
Wow.
Little shot.
Wow. I like Keyshawn.
Do you?
As a commentator, yeah. I do. Because
I like Key.
I think he talks a lot of mess. I think he's entertaining. I think you need an X factor like that.
I thought Key was actually, man, I was a big fan of Key's house remodeling show. I don't know if you ever caught that one.
No idea.
Yeah, 1 year, I don't know how many seasons he got out of it, but for a couple of years, well, for one season that I watched, he was actually going into homes and helping people remodel their homes. It wasn't quite the overhaul or anything or total rip it down to the studs type thing, but It was like, let me put this throw pillow or this rug right here. It was stuff like that. Before we move on, it just came to mind, man. I was in the work. I was at work and was in the break room, man, and looked up at the TV, and Vanilla Ice has a do-it-yourself program.
Oh yeah. Like when you were talking about Key, that was the first thing that came into my head.
That blew me away. Like I gotta give,
and people like it.
I gotta give him his credit, man.
Like people like it.
I really gotta give him his credit as far as being on his game, on his grind, reinventing himself. Maybe times 5 now, whatever. The show was pretty good. I like his crew, and on there, and it just caught my eye. Like, wow, Vanilla Ice. I mean, anything not to have a normal 9 to 5, man. I give people credit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's Megatron's the next endeavor that he steps into. He seems to be a gentleman.
I see it. Like, and I, as much as I dislike Nate Burleson for his career, I see. Calvin's a name, so I think NFL Network grabs him. I think they snatch him up fast.
I think that's a big possibility.
He's sitting next to his former teammate who dropped all the balls that Calvin should have caught when they were thrown his way.
You know what, man? I give Nate some credit because he actually followed me on Twitter. Like, I never had even looked up Nate Burleson on anything, and out the blue, I guess I was talking about some football, and he gave me a follow, and I just said that to say I think he was a guy. If he could have been doing in-game interviews or commentary when he was playing, I think he would have done it. He just seems like one of those guys that had his mind, like Ryan Clark. I think 3 or 4 years out, he had his eyes on some studio work.
Yeah, which is probably why he was dropping all them balls late in his career. Sorry,
exactly.
Still bitter.
I'm about to say you haven't moved on from that yet.
Still bitter.
All right, so man, I thought we'd get into my man real quick. Actually, just a quick boxing note. I guess Sergey Kovalev defeated Jean Pascal yesterday at 8th round stoppage or something. I did not see it. I don't have HBO right now, but I'm gonna check that one out. And then tonight at 9:00. If you happen to have Bounce TV, you can watch the PBC card with Erickson Lubin, the Hammer. I got to get off of here when we get done and try to find a way to watch this fight online. It's a exciting junior middleweight prospect that's like 13-0 with 10 KOs. So I want to check that out. But just a quick boxing note. So we got into Megatron, moving on. Hey man, before we get into the Super Bowl preview, to conclude our intro topics, USA Today, like I said a couple days ago, they put up this 49. They ranked the 49 Super Bowl winning